What is up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Transfer Deadline Day here on Anfield Agenda. Look, what a 24 hours it has been. We will pick through the bones of the game against Aston Villa. Of course, we'll congratulate Villa on their thoroughly deserved victory. We'll talk about everything else that's happened over the past 24 hours as well. Looking like it's actually a very quiet transfer deadline day from a Liverpool perspective. There was talk that maybe Shaqiri could move. That's not going to happen. There was talk about Wilson not looking likely. Grujic. And there's still problems with Liverpool with regards to squad numbers and stuff like that with relation to the amount of bodies that we have and what the Premier League allows. So there are a few headaches there for the club still to clear up. But the biggest headache came yesterday with that result at Aston Villa. And that's something that I wanted to go through tonight with you guys as well. Give everybody a chance to vent and talk about the game yesterday. I'm sure people have their own villains that they'd like to pick out and stuff as well. I don't buy into that. I think we win as a team, we lose as a team. There were some horrendous performances that we'll go through, of course, and lots of other stuff as well along the way. But my God, what a 24 hours it has been. A lot of people messaging me, asking me, am I okay and all? Of course I'm okay, folks. I'm big and ugly enough to take this stuff on the chin. If I dish out this level of banter, it's only fair that I take it back when it comes my way, and I've got no problem with that. You should know me by now. Look, ladies and gents, how are we? We'll bounce back soon, said Fabio. Don't worry. I'm not worried, really. I mean, there are a few little things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the high line and a few other bits and pieces, but with regards to the club moving forward, I'm very happy with where we are right now. It's a transfer window that I think Liverpool have executed very well with regards to incomings. Probably didn't bring in the money that we'd hoped for the fringe players. We've moved some on, but there's still a few people hanging around that probably won't make it long term at Liverpool Football Club. But as it's been put out there by the club all window, if they don't get the money that they want, they're happy to hold on to the players and move them on in the future because they have a value that they value them at, and that's the end of it. It's as simple as that, and I like the club taking that stance. It shows that we're no mugs in the transfer window. And look, we've ended this window with Costa Simicas, Thiago and Diogo Jota. That's a pretty good transfer window. That's a transfer window I definitely would have taken if you had have asked me way back when it opened. So yeah, I'm happy enough all around with that one. Diego said, let's go 50k. Congrats, Craig. Yeah, it's just us, isn't it? It's just Anfield Agenda. Like, that we hit 50k on the worst performance that I can think of probably in my lifetime supporting Liverpool, even through the horrendous sides that we've seen. But look, that's maybe been disrespectful to Aston Villa, who played out of their skins yesterday. They beat us in every department. They were fantastic. I don't want to take anything away. I want to congratulate Dean Smith and Aston Villa and all the Villa fans who might be tuning in to watch as well. The better team won on the day. There's no excuses coming from me whatsoever, and no problem. I'm not going to moan about the referee. There's a couple of contentious decisions, but it wouldn't have changed it either way, because once we conceded that early goal, our heads went and Villa tore us to shreds. There's no other way. We got to face up to it and take it on the chin. But for all the people who are United fans who are out there rightly having a pop at me, by the way, I have no issues with you having a pop at me, but as I said yesterday, you absolutely know that I'm right when I say that as a club, Liverpool right now are in a far better position. So I can look at that result yesterday, and most Liverpool fans, most sensible Liverpool fans can. I know that it was a blip. I know that it was something that the club will want to put right. I know that we need to put it right when the game against Everton comes after the international break. A massive game that we really can't afford to drop any points in. We've got to go to Goodison Park and try and get that win. But look, let's have a little pick through the bones of yesterday and see what we think about the game, because there was a lot of nervous people when it was put out there that Alisson isn't going to be available for 4 to 6 weeks and Adrian's going to be the goalkeeper for that period. And a lot of us thought, right, look, get through this game, we'll get to the international window and we'll see how we are. But my goodness, did it fall apart, and did it fall apart early. Now, I'm not somebody who wants players to come out onto social media, and I'm not somebody who feels they're owed an apology from players. That's not the way I go about things whatsoever. But I have to be honest and say that a couple of my mates and a few Liverpool fans, and potentially myself included, maybe feel a little bit more from Adrian could have been forthcoming. Even just I don't even want to say the word sorry. I mean, I know he acknowledged it and said there are better days ahead and stuff, but I feel like he kind of ducks responsibility on a few times for stuff like this. Virgil van Dijk's face summed it all up yesterday. I'm sure you've seen the pictures of him with his head in his hand. 4 minutes into the game, 4 minutes. All you have to do is put your foot through the ball and clear it. And he tries to pass to Joe Gomez, and Villa are clinical and score. They go 1-0 up. But from there, we never really recovered, to be fair. The only person for me who came out of that game yesterday with any level of dignity was really Mo Salah, who I thought put in a very good shift in what was an otherwise terrible Liverpool performance. Elusive Glue, thank you for the super chat, mate. First one of the night. Said congrats on 50k, Craig and Connor. Really appreciate that, buddy. Look, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you want to talk about tonight, this is the last show for 3 days because I'm going to take 3 days off to spend some time with my family over the international break because, look, there's got to be nothing happening from a Liverpool perspective. I've got Sky Sports on in the background in case any transfers come up last minute or anything, but I can't see anything happening from a Liverpool perspective. A lot of people saying they knew Adrian wasn't going to be that good. Look, I can't really argue with you. We all know that he's not at the level that Alisson is, and we've spoken about the fact that it would be ideal if we could have a keeper that would challenge Alisson, but we are where we are. There's no point in really pointing fingers. It was a once-off game for us that will never be repeated under Jurgen Klopp. I can't imagine he's ever going to allow that to be repeated. It wasn't the Liverpool that we've become accustomed to seeing and the Liverpool mentally that we've become accustomed to seeing under Jurgen Klopp. I genuinely believed at half-time, even at 4-1 down, that we had it within us to get something from that game, or at least make a fight of the game, but we didn't. We came out in the second half and we got beaten again by Villa, and 7-2 could have been more, could have been less, could have been more, but thoroughly deserved from Aston Villa's perspective. Right, what else we got? Joanne, thank you very much for the super sticker, really appreciate that. When will the giveaway be, mate? See, when I see things like that, Keane, that makes me think that you're not here for the right reasons, mate. Do you know what I mean? First question, when are we getting free shit? The giveaway's coming up, don't worry about that. As we promised, there's a massive giveaway coming from Anfield Agenda, the biggest one that we've ever done. We're going to be giving away 3 different things as one prize package to one winner. But as I did say as well, we will launch it towards the end of the international break, just because it's going to be very inactive on here, and we want as many of our subscribers as possible to be around, floating about, watching Liverpool content, to be able to have a chance to win it. So what we're going to do, we're going to put together a bit of a reaction video over the past 24 hours as well, because you would not believe our inbox. I'm sure you've seen the clip floating around social media of me, well, take your pick, of me saying 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 and throwing my remote controls around, or the one of me laughing at the intro to the stream yesterday, the watch-along, talking about United getting beaten 6-1. ESPN were in contact with us to use the clip. Joe.co.uk were in contact to use the clip. 433, who have 30 million followers on Instagram, they got in contact with us to ask if they used the clip. So it's been a mad day, I'm not going to lie to you folks. I mean, a lot of people checking in on me because, you know, they know that I've had downtime and stuff as well, but I'm tickety-boo. I promise you guys, I'm absolutely sound, nothing to worry about. I told you when we set up this channel, if I can't dish it out, if I can dish it out, I should be able to take it. And I've been taking it, and I'm taking it on the chin because it's what it's all about. It's part of it. Yeah, there are people who step over the line. There are people who went and taunted family and stuff. And look, let's not go there. But tonight, I want to go through the performance. I want to ask you guys, are you happy with the transfer window? I want to talk about what we could maybe do moving forward as well with regards to that high line. I know the high line has come into conversation a lot over the past 24 hours or so, but I did see one really interesting stat. I think it was on Match of the Day 2, if my memory's correct. Liverpool have caught more teams offside than any other team in the Premier League, and that's because of that system that we play. I can't remember the exact number, but there was quite a margin between us and second place. So the high line seems to be working, but has to be implemented correctly. I mean, I wish I had video that I could talk you through the goals yesterday, but the free kick was a very good example of how we got it completely tits up. We didn't watch the runner. We watched the big man. We watched Tyrone Mings, but we didn't watch the runner coming in at the back post, who timed his run perfectly, and the ball was across, and before we knew it, Ollie Watkins was heading it in for his hat-trick. That's the type of stuff that's avoidable. Yes, of course, Adrian's mistake, thoroughly avoidable, shouldn't be happening, especially when you've done it before. I mean, why try the pass on your left foot, which is your weak foot, first and foremost, if you're not entirely confident? And secondly, just put your foot through the ball, mate. Just put your foot through the ball. It's the first 4 minutes of the game. That was class, start of the video. Being able to have the piss taken out of you, not rage, as an art form. It's part of what we do. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you sign up to do this, you've got to be willing to take a bit. That's the way I look at it. And anything that's good-natured or people just laughing and it's sound, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm big and ugly enough to look after myself. What have we got? We never got out of first gear. We didn't. But you know what? we're going to talk about Adrian, and rightly so, but we need to also talk around my favourite player, somebody who's just, quite frankly, hasn't been up to it, and a conversation needs to be had around Roberto Firmino. We need to have the conversation around when does the likes of Takumi Minamino, Diogo Jota start pushing him for a starting berth, or do we perhaps see a little tweak in system when Thiago comes back in that may see Mohamed Salah going through the centre. But one thing is for sure, this is probably the biggest Merseyside derby I can remember for many a year, and we got to go and get the win. We got to go and get the win after the international break. Everton are going to be absolutely bang up for this. 4 out of 4 for them in the league. We're coming. They beat us to 6 points clear of us. It's a 12:30 kickoff, which I never like on the Saturday as well. It's going to be a belter of a game, and one that, unfortunately we've got to wait 2 weeks for, but hopefully it'll be worth waiting for. Alec McDonald said, love you bro, but laughed last video for 6-1, then lost 7-2. Welcome to club banter. As part of the job, mate. Well, I say job, I wish it was a job. It's part of what we do, pal, and look, I'm happy to take it on the chin. It is what it is. Any new signings for goalkeepers? No. I know a lot of people were asking about Gazaniga, the Spurs backup keeper. Quite frankly, I would have thought that was a waste of money. Even if it was a free transfer, even if it was very low money. My big question here is, what does a young keeper at Liverpool have to do to really get a chance? Danny Ward never really got a chance. Queevin Kelleher's not really getting a chance. And I wonder, the guy we bought in, Pitaluga, will he get an opportunity? So that's the conversation around the goalkeepers that I'd rather have. Why not give Queevin Kelleher an opportunity? Why not? If he's good enough to be at Liverpool and play in the under-23s, he has to be good enough, surely, to be given a chance. How could he have done any worse? That's kind of where I'd go with that. That's my take on it. And look, I don't like pointing fingers at people. Anyone that puts on the Liverpool shirt will get my respect and deserves all of our respect. But as I've always said, nobody's above critiquing and nobody's above being called out on a bad performance. And there was a lot of bad performances yesterday. I mean, it's very rare you even see Van Dijk go to ground for a sliding tackle, but we seen that yesterday as well. Kyle Flano said, is Ali out for 6 weeks? Only came in now, sorry for asking. Nope, no problem, buddy. You're more than entitled to ask. From what we're gathering, 4 to 6 weeks seems to be the numbers that's put out there in regards to Alisson. I think Klopp was pushing it towards the 6 week mark from what I read. And even at that, I think Jurgen Klopp was saying that we were fortunate that it's only 6 weeks. It could have been a lot longer. It's going to feel like a very long time. And if Adrian had gotten through that game yesterday, even without the mistake, even if we went out there and got beat, let's say Villa went and beat us 3-1, something like that, and the goals were just great goals or defensive collapses, we could have understood it more. I wonder how much of an impact not having Ali there has psychologically on the likes of Van Dijk and Joe Gomez and Trent Alexander-Arnold, on Andy Robertson. I've been seeing some people in the media say that there's just no belief in the goalkeeper, but then why pass the ball back to him under the pressure that we're under? Surely you have to have belief in a professional goalkeeper that when you pass the ball to him and he's not really under that much pressure, that he can cope with the situation. But as I said, you could see it in Van Dijk's face early on. There does seem to be, we talked about the drop off from our front three, which we've addressed by going out there, getting Diogo Jota, bringing in Takumi Minamino. We've got young Harvey Elliott, still Divock Origi. Shaqiri looks like he's going to be at the club till at least January. Yeah, it's been a mad 24 hours. I don't really know what else to say on it. Having some bad luck, that's all, said Neil Davies. Yeah, look, we've got a lot of players out. I mean, but that shouldn't be an excuse. We have a big enough squad that we should be able to cope with that, particularly this early in the season. Yes, we had Thiago out, we had Sadio Mane out, Jordan Henderson only fit enough for the bench, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain out. Probably missing one or two more as well off the top of my head that were unavailable. But we still put out a team that I think should have been good enough to do the job. And I'm sure you would all agree with me. When we seen that starting lineup yesterday, it was pretty much as expected. There wasn't too many surprises in there. Seeing Jota going on the left-hand side of the attack made sense. But we just didn't get... If you're playing the high line that we play, the press has to be right. If the press isn't right, you're giving people time to just ping balls in behind the high defensive line. When you've got somebody like Jack Grealish or McGinn in midfield for Villa, who are capable of pulling those strings, you've got to put the press on. And there wasn't enough pressing from the midfield and the front to put pressure on these midfielders or these attacking midfielders to have the space to free and put people in behind them. You've got the pace of Ollie Watkins as well. That's just a recipe for disaster. And yesterday, Dean Smith deserves immense credit for spotting these chinks in Liverpool's armour and being able to go out there and have his team execute it. I mean, Villa deserve credit for yesterday, but we've got to also look at how we defend, because it's not just about defending at the back. We've got the system we play. We defend from the front. We've always said that about Firmino, Mane, Salah. The pressing is one of the reasons Jota was brought in. He was described as a pressing machine. And that wasn't up to scratch yesterday as well. So there's a whole load of things on top of what was just a mental day in football perspective anyway, with United's freak 6-1 loss at home to Spurs, with West Ham beating Leicester 3-0, with us getting hammered 7-2 by Aston Villa. Just a crazy day. Now I'm seeing here Man United make inquiry for Watford winger Ismail Assar popping up there in Sky Sports News, and also Arsenal have triggered, as I'm sure you know, the €45 million release clause in Thomas Partey's contract. So that looks like it could happen for them as well, a player that they've been looking to bring in all summer. United's transfer window, look, it's not really my place to say, but they didn't get Jadon Sancho, and there's already talk that Jadon Sancho is going to be a Liverpool player next year. I don't know. You'll see this stuff coming out all the time, of course. The window's open. They've got to keep the clicks coming. I think it was Mundo Deportivo show coming up for the next window, or next summer, I should say. And look, I wouldn't be surprised. We've said this all along. If United didn't get him this summer, then the likes of Liverpool or Real Madrid or whoever else would probably come in sniffing around when financially the world's a little bit better, hopefully next summer. And I would expect that to be the case. Did our captain will be in the lineup against Everton? Yes, great to have Hendo back. He's one of those players, I've said it time and time again, you don't realise what you're missing until Jordan Henderson isn't there. But we'll also have Thiago, and that's going to be so exciting. We only got to see a brief little glimpse of Thiago against Chelsea, but now when he comes back, obviously hope he gets well soon. We'll have him back after the international break as well, but he still has to settle in. But it's good signs. I mean, I'm looking at yesterday and I'm genuinely not trying to lose my mind. The thing that annoyed me was the result. The result and the performance. Other than that, I can put it down to a bad day, I can put it down to a once-off blip, but it's just a complete mental 24 hours. I don't even know what else to say to you folks. Craig, Mr. Worldwide, said Luke Cage. That would yeah, that's the dream, mate. Mr. Worldwide. Someday. Thank you. Look, again, as you can see, we did pass by 50,000 subscribers. I want to take a second to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for being with us on this journey. We do it together. We win together. We lose together. And hopefully we continue together. We're on the march now to 100k. Who knows when we'll get there, but I never thought we'd get to where we are now. So again, I want to take a second to say thank you for your love and support. Even if you're somebody who comes in for a bit of banter occasionally. Shout out to Alex as well, by the way, who's a United fan, who I'm sure is probably watching in the background somewhere, whose video it was that actually went particularly viral. I think 1.1 or 1.2 million views on Twitter alone. So fair play to Alex for pulling that one as well. Crosby's in the house. Bad buffer in there, but back to normal now. Yes, apologies. It did seem to buffer for a minute, but yeah, we're back. Apologies there for the buffering, folks. But, gremlins in the system, transfer deadline day, lots of stuff running around the house. Craig all over Instagram meme sites. Yes, but let me ask you a question. Surely you don't see that as a bad thing from our perspective. I mean, yeah, I'm getting the shit slagged out of me, and rightly so. I deserve to be bantered, but it's shone a light on the channel, and people are more aware of the channel now. And if people come into the channel, it's now our job as hosts and your job as subscribers and people in the chat to make sure that we keep the viewers here when they come in and make sure we welcome new people to the channel. You've always done it for us from day one, and you'll continue to do it. So I see it as a massive positive. I mean, there are people around the world who never knew about our channel who now know about it. So, I mean, that's a small price to pay for all the banter that I've received over the past 24 hours, because I deserve it. I've said this all along. If I put it out, I deserve to get it back. That's the way the game's played. You have to dance the dance. The really funny thing is, actually, I didn't even remember the Adrian comment. After the stream, Connor said to me, that Adrian comment you said about him not letting in 6, that's exploding. And what comment? I genuinely didn't even remember saying that until I watched the clip back. It was such a throwaway comment. And also, people have been saying to me that I must have had that intro, the laughing intro planned. Hand on heart. That just came when the camera came on. I was going to do my usual, what's up everybody, you're very welcome along, blah, blah, blah. But the laughter just came because that's how I felt in that moment about what I just witnessed in that Manchester United game. It was mental. But little did we know, karma, she's vicious. And she came to bite me in the backside, and fair play. I mean, there's been some brilliant stuff put out there. I've seen a clip from Friends where it's 7, 7, 7, 7. I've seen, my meltdown to the Curb Your Enthusiasm music. I look at it as us getting more viewers to the channel, and that's the goal here for all of us folks. And I welcome the viewers, and I hope that they enjoy and stick with us and have a bit of fun with us along the way. What have we got? Bantered by Man United fans, which are sitting 16th in the league table. Yeah, look, it was weird. It was almost like the perfect storm yesterday. Not just for me, but for all Liverpool fans on social media. United fans somehow got to feel better about their beating by our result. I don't get it, personally. I mean, I don't get how they think they can lord it over us when Liverpool are clearly in a better position as a club. And people were calling me arrogant. How was backing my team arrogant? That's what I don't understand. People were out there calling me out on the 7-2, fair enough. But not one person in the world expected that result yesterday. So people that were calling me arrogant and having a laugh, show me one person that predicted that Liverpool were going to concede 7 goals yesterday. None of us thought it was going to happen. So it was just a perfect shitstorm in one of those days. And look, it is what it is. Let's get in and talk about the game anyway. Blame Connor for the loss to Villa, said Yusuf. Why not? Why not, mate? We blame him for everything else. Kieran's coming in saying 7-2. Brilliant. I mean, we lost the game of football, Kieran. But what do you want me to say, mate? I'm grand about it. Everybody coming in saying 7-2. Yes, but I guarantee you'd still rather be where Liverpool are right now than where your club is. That's the big thing here. You can hide it throughout the transfer window or throughout the international break if it makes you feel better till the next time United come and disappoint all their fans. That's alright. I'm fully expecting Liverpool to come back and bounce back with a performance against Everton, and I know you guys are as well. And I will never apologise for backing a group of players and a manager that have given us some of the best nights of our lives over the past few years, that have brought us in players like Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, players that we've had the pleasure of witnessing. We've still got to look forward to Thiago, to Diogo Jota, to the likes of young Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones's career ahead as well. So, I'm sound. I'm only concerned about that result yesterday because it was kind of coming. There were a few little pieces that weren't quite right. And yesterday was just a perfect storm of an excellent Villa performance, full of energy, full of guile, full of craft against a lacklustre Liverpool. And we were put to the sword. And there's no, you've got to put your hands up on it. What have we got? Had me in tears. I had tears in my eyes at 4-1, said Vishal. I genuinely thought at half-time of 4-1 that we still had a chance to get that back. That's how much I believe in that group of players. We've seen it before. We've seen Liverpool come back from the dead. And I was fully sure that Klopp was going to go in there at half-time and we'd get some type of a reaction. Not necessarily that we'd go and win the game, but, you get back 4-2, 4-3, it'd at least make Villa a bit nervous. Even when we got back to 5-2, when Salah pulled that goal back, I thought to myself, right, if we can get a next goal with 20 minutes to go or something, Villa might get a little bit nervous, but they didn't. They caught us with the high line. You could talk about the deflected goals, but I've said all along, and I've said it, we don't shoot enough. You've got to buy a ticket to win the raffle, and Villa took the shots. They deflected fair enough, but you've got to gamble and have these opportunities for those deflections. If you don't take the shot, the deflection doesn't happen. So it was just one of those days where we didn't get a penalty earlier on that I thought, hand on heart, I thought was a penalty. Wouldn't have changed the game the way we played. Villa probably would have beaten us anyway. And we had opportunities in that first half that we just did not take. First half could have ended up 5-5, if we're being really honest with ourselves. Roberto Firmino missed a couple of opportunities. Mohamed Salah scored a fantastic first goal. And their keeper made a couple of decent stops, but it is what it is. We move on. I'm looking forward to the game against Everton. If you don't laugh at a result yesterday, you'll cry, said Adam Doherty. Everyone just be positive. Good days will come soon. As I've said, that manager and that group of players have given us some of the best moments we'll probably ever have as Liverpool fans. They've delivered us the Premier League title. They've delivered us the European Cup. We've seen them win the Club World Cup, lift the Super Cup as well. I'm not going to let one result ruin the months and years of entertainment and great performances and character and courage that we've seen from this group of players. What I am glad to see actually is a lot of the little gobshites on Twitter being called out by people who people who wanted personal apologies from players and stuff like just mad stuff, tagging players in posts. I'm glad to see those type of clowns being called out by people on social media. Brian Morrissey, how are you, Brian? Said, I reckon he's definitely dropping Bobby either way for the derby. If he plays poorly, if the game was Fulham at home or something, I reckon Minamino would start. Yeah, it's a tough one, Brian, isn't it? I mean, what do you guys in the chat think? Because Brian has raised the topic there that I wanted to talk about. For the Merseyside derby, assuming everybody comes back from international duty safe and okay, what are you going with for your front line? I mean, if Mane's available, brilliant. Mane, Salah, and who? Do you go with Takumi Minamino? Do you go with Diogo Jota? Do you maybe, as I said earlier on, move Salah through the centre and put Jota back out on the right-hand side? Maybe give Sadio a try on the right-hand side? I don't know. But I understand the questions around Bobby Firmino starting, and I think it's a fair conversation that Liverpool fans need to have. Gaz said, Gaz, not Jazz. Man United fans only ribbing the result because in fairness there was excitement going on, plus it would be different if maybe a ref was actually on. Look, they have every right to banter us. I tore strips off United on social media yesterday. I was having so much fun. And then that happens, and we've got to just take it. We'll come back stronger. We know that we will. Right, with regards to the transfer window, folks, how are we feeling about this? Are we happy with the business that Liverpool have done? It leaves us in a bit of a precarious situation with the likes of Grujic and Wilson and stuff like that, unless there's very, very, very late moves or even loan moves perhaps for Wilson, maybe back to a championship club, which is still possible because there is that period where Liverpool can loan players until, I think it's the 16th of October, is that right, if my memory's correct? Or the 13th, one or the other? Brian said, just a wake-up call for Bobby, not a permanent demotion. Yeah, look, I mean, I've probably been blinded to Bobby's poor performances more than others because everyone knows I adore the fella. He's my favourite footballer. But, I mean, people called me out on it, and I looked back at myself and I looked back at how Bobby has played, and I took it on the chin, and I thought these people are right. I need to call it as I see it and not let my affection or fondness for a particular player blind me of it. And Firmino hasn't been good enough. That's fair enough to say. Nobody's above critiquing, but, you know, Bobby will come back. Bobby's just going through a blip right now, in my opinion. I would have liked the centre-back, said Ryan Brown. Yes, I can understand those calls as well, but I do think Jurgen Klopp has made the right decision with regards to not bringing in a centre-back, and let me just explain why. As things stand, we've got a really packed central midfield. We've got Fabinho, Thiago, Milner, Gini, Henderson, Keita, Curtis Jones, and only really, 3 positions there, maybe 1 defensive position and 2 a little bit ahead. So the option is there now to play Fabinho at centre back if we are struck with injuries or we need to rotate without really losing too much in midfield because Thiago's there. Yes, he'll play the 6 in a different way, maybe a little bit on the front foot more. But it'll give us an option as well to not use the flank so much, maybe not have Van Dijk going over the top as much. Maybe we can start playing through the midfield a little bit more and add another dimension to our attack, which was what the signing of Thiago was all about, really. W. Leon, I think you've gone a bit too far, mate. Says Firmino's absolutely shocking, he needs to go. I think what's very difficult for Roberto Firmino is he's been classed as a 9, an out-and-out 9, and he's been measured on the goals that a centre forward should be scoring. If Bobby Firmino was playing in an attacking midfield role, we probably wouldn't be having these conversations as we are. But the question really is, whose fault is it that he's playing through the middle? Do you give the player the responsibility for being poor? Or do you think maybe Jurgen Klopp just needs to pull him back or try him somewhere else for the time being to get his confidence back? So it's also a conversation that needs to be had around the gaffer here. How long will he stick with Bobby Firmino without, as Brian said, giving him maybe that little wake-up call? What have we got? Reece Williams looks better than Gomez. No, he doesn't. Reece Williams looks mint, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Reece Williams looks class, but to say he's better than Gomez already is very short-sighted. I mean, he could be. He looks brilliant. He hasn't put a foot wrong in the games I've seen him play anyway. But to say he's already better than Joe Gomez, I think it's just sensationalism. It's just my take on it. What have we got? We need to have faith in Kelleher or use another young keeper. Yes, we did bring in Pitaluga, but 17 years of age, a lot of pressure there. But yeah, I understand the calls for Kelleher to get a chance. Obviously, I'm biased on this one because I'm Irish as well, and I'd love Queeveen to get an opportunity. Let's see what the gaffer does. I mean, I also don't think it's right for us to go out there and sign another goalkeeper to cover for potentially 4 weeks after we come back. It's very short-sighted, and you're talking about somebody being uprooted, their family moving and stuff for what? To cover 4 weeks, really, if we're being honest about this. We can readdress it in January if needs be. People who say Klopp out needs to shut up. Daryl, I agree with you, man. It was one result. Are we not entitled to a shit performance? Do you know what I mean? We've put in result after result, performance after performance, grinded it out, came back from the dead against Barcelona, won the league at a canter. Nobody's entitled to a shit performance, but I think we can forgive them a shit performance. It's all about how we bounce back. It's about the Liverpool that we see against Everton at Goodison Park. That's what we need to know. That's what's going to give us a real read on this situation. How these players bounce back against Everton. And I'm expecting Liverpool to come back as Liverpool of old. I mean, it's a derby, so it's got to be 100 miles an hour from the off. Everton, obviously and rightly, full of confidence right now with the great start to the season that they've had. So let's see. It's a big game and questions are going to be asked, and these are big game players and they need to show up, and I have every faith that they will. Am I wrong? Well, some of the people that are having a pop, but not just me but other Liverpool fans, we're supporting our team. That's what we're here to do. We'll call out the bad performances when we see them, we'll critique the players, but none of us are going to start turning on people. That's not what we're about. That's definitely not the type of people that I want watching on Anfield Agenda or in our comment section. We don't want that type of toxicity in our club. Leave that to other clubs. We're in a good position right now, and one performance is not going to change that. Still laughing at the 6-1, mate? Yes! I'm absolutely still laughing at that shambles of United performance, because it won't be the last. If it makes you feel better to tell yourself that you went down to 10 players and that's the reason, fair enough. I look at it and say the reason is that Pogba is an absolute fraud. He can be world class when he wants to be, but he never seems to want to be. Bruno Fernandes is a great player. I'm not going to argue about that one bit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just hasn't got a Scooby-Doo what's going on. Tactically he's naive. The board and the owners of the club don't really seem to give a shit about United. So yeah, I'm laughing at that 6-1, and I'm not going to stop laughing at it, because I know deep down I'm laughing at a club that's in absolute turmoil versus United fans having a laugh at us for one bad result. Therein lies the difference. And if you can't see that as a football fan, rival fan or not, then you're just kidding yourself and you're just trying to make yourself feel better. That's the fact, that's the truth behind it. You know that I'm right. The sky is falling, everything's terrible, said Ramadan. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Loved watching your reaction video last night, said Damien Phillips. Thank you. Really appreciate all the support and people watching. Thomas said, Chelsea fan, missing Mane and Alisson, I consider it more a fluke side. End of the day, it's one loss. Liverpool have been amazing for 3 years. They're going to have an L here or there. Exactly, and we're missing a captain as well, mate. And we hadn't got Thiago available. I mean, not that I'm making excuses. I don't want anything taken away from Villa. Villa deserve every credit for that performance yesterday. Dean Smith, mastermind did a tactical performance that put Liverpool to the sword. Has his team playing full of confidence. Questions asked about Ollie Watkins. Bags himself a hat-trick against the champions. I've got nothing but respect for Villa yesterday. To any Villa fans watching, congratulations. You deserve that victory, and I wish you all the best for the season ahead. Obviously, when you come to Anfield, we're going to want to put that right. But yesterday was Villa's day, and they deserve to have that day without all the headlines and all the talk being about how shit Liverpool were. Yeah, we weren't great. We know that. But don't take away from Villa. Villa deserved the credit for that performance yesterday. I've been trying to interact with Villa fans as much as I could on social media today to just congratulate them on that win, because they've been quite nice back as well, to be fair. Look, I speak facts. I would have rather lost 7-2 than lose 1-0. Liverpool will come back. We always do. I really want to come back and go on a 30-game run. Yeah, look, it was a strange game. I mean, there was one point in that game with 20 minutes to go where I actually thought, how am I going to get through this last 20 minutes on the stream, because it was so out of this world. Like, when I was saying 7, I was saying that because I didn't know what else to say. I was scrambling in my brain to try and put together some type of rationale for what I was seeing unfold in front of me, but I couldn't. I just got stuck in this loop of saying 7, and yeah, look, it is what it is. If it was a two-legged tie, we win 5-0. I'll take any positives, mate. Well played. Thank you for the super chat, Zanudin. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hassan, thank you so much, mate, for your support. Look, if anybody wants to become a member of Anfield Agenda FC, by the way, click on that join button. Membership's $4.99 a month. Click on the subscribe button though if you're new to the channel. It's a quiet stream tonight, which we expected at the end of the transfer window. Again, just a heads up, this was going to be my last stream until Thursday. No, Friday. I'll be back on Friday with a stream. Myself and Connor are going to take 3 well-earned days off. And then we'll start looking ahead to the giveaway. I've got more interviews coming up on the channel as well. Some big interviews that we've got arranged. And lots of other bits and pieces as well. And as always, we'll be covering every Liverpool game here on Anfield Agenda. How tall are you? I'm 7'2". Yeah, that's about the length of me nuts, mate. 7'2". Yeah, I'd say 7'2". Each one of me nuts about that size, yeah. 7-2, brilliant. We lost the game of football, 7-2. Brilliant. Like, come on, better banter than that. If you're going to come in for some banter, at least have a pop, like, do you know what I mean? Ian Whitehouse said, you have a great blog, you were a joy to watch last night. Thank you, Ian. Look, I'm somebody who tries to call things as I see it. Look, yeah, there's a bit of sensationalism at times. Of course there is. But the way you see me watching a game is the way I'd be watching that game sitting at home. One thing you wouldn't have noticed yesterday, folks, is when I went into my 777 rant and I threw 2 remote controls, one of them was a Sky remote control, and I've learned from experience to make sure you don't break that remote control, because those remote controls are expensive. So the television remote control, that got hopped off the wall, but the Sky remote control was very carefully aimed towards the sofa. John Shaw said, Bobby's been poor for the best part of 18 months now. Ollie Watkins has more goals yesterday than Bobby has in 264 days. Great work from the guys at Anfield Agenda. Congrats on 50k. It's a fair... You know, Bobby needs to be critiqued right now. He also needs to be supported, by the way. But that support can come from us letting him know that we're behind him and we want him to get better. We want him to get back to where he is. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he isn't at where he needs to be right now. He'll know that. Klopp will know that. The coaches and his teammates will know that. And they'll be rallying around trying to get Bobby back to where he was. All the words coming out of the club during the week were that he was fantastic in training. There was a 5-a-side game where he was full of flicks. He was on fire scoring goals. And I fully expected Bobby to come out yesterday absolutely chomping at the bit. But that's not what we've seen. Unfortunately, we've seen some heavy touches, some misplaced passes, some opportunities that didn't go in. And look, he wasn't the only one out there that put in a terrible performance yesterday. But I think he was probably himself and Gomez who would... he did have a shocker as well, to be fair, Joe Gomez. He came back, got 2 brief appearances, was substituted to get Virgil van Dijk off against Arsenal for the last 30 minutes. He looked confident, but that confidence wasn't there yesterday. Joel Matip obviously out injured as well. The option wasn't there yesterday for Jurgen Klopp to drop Fabinho into centre-back really from the start of the game, not keeping to the spine of the squad that he'd like to. So if we had had Henderson there, we probably would have seen Thiago play at centre-back yesterday. But you know, it is what it is, folks. Let me just ask you about the transfer window, by the way. Liverpool fans watching, or whatever club that you guys are watching, are you happy with the transfer window? Are you happy with the business that your clubs did? I always find it really odd that, like, let's say Arsenal right now, Thomas Partey, they've gone in, they've triggered that release clause in his contract by walking into the La Liga offices and banging down a €45 million check on the counter. Why do they leave it so late in the window? I understand sometimes it's the finances, but you know, it's gone very late and people could see this happening. People could see that this was going to unfold down the line. So it always worries me when clubs are doing business this late. So I'm happy we got our business done early. We're early enough, I should say. Why are people saying Klopp out? I genuinely can't say of many people I've ever seen say Klopp out. Not serious Liverpool fans anyway. Not anybody I'd be interacting with. Zaid said, imagine making fun of United. I'm going to say this again, Zaid, just so it can be crystal clear. Manchester United are a laughing stock right now, mate. If it makes you feel better to slag us about the 7-2 or have a pop at me for bragging about United losing, go ahead. That's absolutely your right to do so. But in the cold light of day, mate, when your mother tucks you in tonight and she reads you a little bedtime story and you drift off into sleep dreaming about the Teletubbies or whatever it is that you kids dream about these days, you know that when you wake up and you open your eyes and the first thought that pops into your head at the end of the day is, United are still a shambles, mate. You know it. I know it. Your fans are in meltdown. Mark rightly is losing his mind over in the United stand about certain things. And he's right to demand that as a fan, by the way. Our club went through a similar thing and our fans were losing their minds as well for a very long time under owners that were doing a lot of things wrong and didn't really give a shit. So Yeah, mock us about 7-2, mate, but you would crawl over broken glass to be where we are right now. That's the difference, mate. It's a once-off for us. It's the start of another shitty season for United fans, so I don't know what else to say about it. Mock the 7-2 all you want, but it's a once-off. We'll be talking about United losing plenty more games as this season progresses. Don't you worry about that, mate. I'll be here bantering United till the end of the season. If anyone says Klopp out, they're not true supporters, they're idiots, mate. That's exactly what they are. Not even not supporters, idiots. Imagine losing 7-2 to Villa. I could not give a shiny shit if we lost 1-0 or 7-2, mate. Like I say, when we win, it's 3 points at the end of the day, and that's what's important. The performance needs to be addressed and will be addressed moving forward. So you can 7-2 it as much as you want. It's not going to change anything. We're still going to win the title this year. That's the way it's going to be. And people who think I'm arrogant, I really couldn't give a shiny shit what you think. I believe in this group of players, and I believe in the manager, and I believe in the hard work that's been done to get Liverpool to the position that they're in. And the fact that your clubs are in a shambles and you don't believe that about your own club, that's your own fucking problem. Go deal with it. I'm happy. And you guys can't stand seeing Liverpool fans happy, so you're trying to just make us implode. It isn't going to happen, I'm sorry. We're in too good of a place right now. These players have earned our respect. They've earned our belief. They've earned the forgiveness for that shitty performance, as long as they go out and address it against Everton. And that's where the difference lies here. And I'm going to continue to say that, because it's the truth. I know every single one of our subscribers in here that's a Liverpool fan knows that that was a once-off yesterday. They know it wasn't acceptable. They expect the manager to give them a bollocking, and they expect Liverpool to come out against Everton and put it right. But we can't do anything about it now. We have to live with the international window, and we'll come back after that and we'll go for the Merseyside derby. If we get 3 points there and Bobby Firmino bags a goal, then this is all going to be forgotten about and we're on back on the road to redemption. That's the next thing to look forward to. That's where my mind is right now. 7-2's done. Dead. It's gone. It's over. Congratulations to Villa. We move on. It's only a blip. We go again, said John P. What do you think about the High Line and Joe Gomez? The High Line, as I said, I addressed it a little bit earlier on in the stream. And look, I'm no tactical genius, so I'm not trying to come on here and proclaim to be on Match of the Day or anything. But from my take on the tactical line is that you need two things to happen. You need the line to be held correctly, and you need the players to all move in unison as a unit. But you also need the press to come from those in front of that defensive line, so players don't have the time on the ball to be able to spray passes or dink balls over the top. Because if you've got so much space behind you that we have and you don't time it right, the margin for error for those passes that the attacking players have is huge. They just need to put it into an area and trust that somebody like Ollie Watkins, with the pace that he has, will get onto the end of it. So the pressure needs to come from the midfield and the attackers, so as there isn't time to get the head up and have a look. They're either forced backwards or they're forced to hit a hit and hope ball that gives their defenders more chance to set. Sometimes you like that free kick routine from Villa yesterday, from their perspective, was so well worked, but from our perspective it was infinitely avoidable. Lens-based media said possible formation change to shore things up for the derby. Villa want to beat Everton so we can win the league. Thank you for answering my question. My pleasure, mate. I'll try and get through as many as I can. Love the Klopp dressing room of Villa. Oh, I'd love to have seen what he said. I really would. Do you think we should have got another replacement for Adrian this window? Yes, I do. Look, I've been saying that for a long time. Not that I've anything against Adrian. Not at all. When Simon Mignolet moved on, that was an easy enough deal for the club to make because he was a free agent. We did it and he came in. At the time, if I'm right, Alisson had missed very few, if any, games for Liverpool Football Club through injury. Yeah, Kylian Kelleher had been given a few opportunities in the League Cups, and so had Simon Mignolet. But through injury, Alisson had missed very little. So Liverpool looked at it and had a goalkeeper with not much of an injury record and probably rolled the dice a little bit, thinking we might get away with this long enough. We've went out and brought in a very young goalkeeper in Pitaluga. We've got Kylian Kelleher there. But the fact of the matter is, as of right now, we don't have somebody at the level that they can go and challenge Alisson. You look at United as an example. I mocked them about a lot of things, but they've got strength and depth when it comes to the goalkeeping department. David De Gea, Henderson and Romero, albeit Romero could be moved. I haven't been keeping track of it today, so he could well move on. That's the level you should be at. That's what Liverpool should have. We should have somebody like an Ergkan Kikir there as backup challenging. And again, whatever I say, Jurgen Klopp, John Achterberg and the coaches, they know everything that we know. Everything that you and I think that we spot in that team, they've seen 6 months ago. They're well ahead of us on these type of things. So this group, the club, the owners, the manager, the staff, the players, they've earned our respect and they've earned the right to have belief from us in what they're going to do and how they're going to react. Because every time that they have been asked the question, they have reacted. Barcelona, 3-0, we're thinking to ourselves, Christ, how's this going to work out? Bang, they go and get it done. In the derby against Everton, didn't give up. Divock Origi there. And not only the game against Barcelona, a game against Barcelona with no Bobby Firmino. We had Robbo go off, no Mohamed Salah. And we still went out and beat a team with the greatest player of all time in it. 2 former Liverpool players with a point to prove. These players have earned that right to have a bad day at the office. It happens to anybody. And yesterday, between Villa being really good, between the deflections, between us not taking chances, between some very good goals from Villa's perspective, that's what happens. Dominic Parker, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Said absolutely no question we must sign a keeper tonight. We cannot rely on Adrian. Calvert-Lewin and Rodriguez will rip us to shreds with him and Sticks. It doesn't look like there's going to be a goalkeeper joining, mate. I mean, I'm looking at the screen right now. There's an hour and a half to go in the window. There's not even a sniff that I'm seeing of any interest. The talk about Gazzaniga was ruled out from all the journalists that I'd seen earlier on talking about it. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we have Quevin Kelleher and Adrian till Alisson's back. Do you think Kelleher should play more like playing against Everton after the mistake from Adrian? Yes, I do, but not just because of the mistake yesterday from Adrian. Anyone that watches the channel will know it's a bit of a gripe of mine. You see players come through the club. We've seen fullbacks come in and get an opportunity. We've seen midfielders come in and get an opportunity. Forwards come in and get an opportunity. But I can't remember the last time a goalkeeper came through the system at Liverpool and got given an opportunity. It's one of my real bugbears about not just our club, about a lot of clubs bringing through keepers. They usually just have to leave to gain experience before they get a chance. But if these people are brought to the club and coached and brought through, I can't understand how they can't get that break. Even to be in this situation right now, how much worse can Quevin Kelleher be if he had a bad day? How much worse could he be? Could he make the fuck up that Adrian made? Probably, potentially. But why not give him a run and see? Give the lad a chance to prove himself. That's my take on this situation. Why not? If he's at the club, he's good enough to be given an opportunity. That's the way I take it. If he's not good enough, he shouldn't be at the club. It's as simple as that with regards to the goalkeepers for me. Alisson, we're so fortunate to have him. One of the best in the world. Love the lad to bits. Fills the back four full of confidence. Distribution is class. Fantastic goalkeeper. No arguments. But you're right. You're right to address the backup goalkeeping position. It should be a little bit stronger. But we can't get everything sorted out. The club are in a position where financially with this window, I think they've worked miracles. And the deals that they've struck to bring in Thiago and Diogo Jota and the way they've been structured, I think Michael Edwards has done a magnificent job there. We need Mane back ASAP. Without him, we're not the same. Can't agree with you enough, mate. I mean, Sadio Mane is unbelievable. The energy, the pressing, the creativity, the what's the phrase I'm looking for here? The unexpected nature of what he can do with a football is just mental at times, and he scares the shit out of fullback. So yeah, we definitely need Sadio back as soon as possible, and of course, we all wish him a speedy recovery. Play Kelleher, the Irish King, said John Coster. We should play Kelleher against a team not so strong, said Yusuf. What about the newly signed young goalkeeper? Again, you're asking a lot of a 17-year-old there who's just come to the country and only getting to grips with things to be thrown right into a Merseyside derby at 17 years of age. I don't know much about Pinaluga. I didn't know much about him until we were interested in him. So I can't come on here in good conscience and say, yeah, throw him in, he'll be alright. I don't know. I've seen enough of Quevin Kelleher to know that why not give him an opportunity? He can't do much worse. This is the truth. John Summers, welcome back to Anfield Agenda FC, buddy. Lovely to see you've renewed your membership. Thank you for coming back. Salah's so underrated by our fans, said Sheriff Kaiser. He was the only player that came out of that game yesterday with any credit. I thought Mohamed Salah was brilliant. I mean, he took his goals really well. His all-round performance, his hold-up play, little 1-2s around the box. Yep, Salah's one of the players yesterday who can hold his head up high, leaving that pitch. Should we buy Gazzaniga from Spurs? No, because he's not good enough either. It'd be a stick and plaster. That's my genuine answer. If we're going to go out there to bring in a backup keeper, then go out and get a good backup keeper who can challenge. Gazzaniga's not good enough to come in and challenge. Do you think the empty stadiums are influencing results? I can't say that, Elijah John, mate, because I haven't been in the player's position. I genuinely don't know. I would say, I'd say it has to influence all clubs to some extent. Yeah, I would say not having the fans behind you, lifting you, to all clubs, not Liverpool, every club out there that's playing behind closed doors now, it must be impacting them. We need to sign a long-time experienced striker to push Bobby's confidence. This is why I'm going to lead back to Raheem Brewster. I will not understand how Divock Origi was kept and Raheem Brewster was sold. I know we've got the buyback clause, I know we've got the sell-on clause, but people are calling for a number 9 and a goal scorer. We had one who could have been given the opportunity, but wasn't, and is now gone to Sheffield United. And I hope he comes back. I hope we see him in a Liverpool shirt again. But we all know Divock ain't the answer. Divock knows probably he's not the answer. He has given us some massive moments and can do a job, but he's not the answer. Pat said, big congrats on reaching 50,000 subs. Should have done it last night, but was so down after the horrendous game. Pat, you never have to apologise to us for that, mate. Your support has always been immense, mate, and thank you so much. Yeah, it was just a very Craigie way of hitting 50k, wasn't it, on a stream like last night. Brian said, it's a man management thing. If you drop Adrian and Kelleher, doesn't step up, you have two problems. That's why Klopp is the manager. Exactly. But there is no but. We're going to have Adrian for the next 4 weeks after the international break. That's pretty much where we are, folks. We're just going to have to hope that the defence can hold firm. Maybe they don't go back to the keeper as much. Maybe we see a little tweak in the way that we play. Maybe a change of formation. Maybe we play through midfield a bit more with Thiago back. A few options there. You narrowly beat Villa in the last game of the season. Yeah, but to be fair, last game of the season got us to 99 points. The title was won. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. We don't play with a central striker. No, we don't as things stand. But do we need a plan B? On occasion, on the rare occasion where plan A isn't working right and the little tweaks don't work, maybe we do need somebody who can play through the middle. And you're right, Blue, we don't play in a system that we play with an out-and-out striker, but we can go to a 4-2-3-1. We know the lads are capable of doing it. We've seen it done before. And look, you can play Salah through the centre. That's what's interesting about this right now. I'm intrigued to see how we set up for the Merseyside derby against Everton. Do you think Mbappe will be good or not? Of course he would. He's a fantastic player, mate. But he's probably out of our price range, if I'm being honest with you. We win together, we lose together, said Adam Parks. Absolutely, pal. We do it all together. Curry said, the United fans laughed at us, would swap places with us in seconds and would want to see what it's like to have players who can play, fight for the badge. Yeah, exactly. Manchester City fan in, mate, truly you've got nothing to be laughing about right now if you're a City fan. I mean, one, your club's plastic as fuck, we know that. So come in and try and banter all you want, mate. Your manager be gone at the end of the season. Raheem Sterling is pulled out of the England squad with a hamstring issue. You've got no striker at the minute. You've spent 400 and something million quid on defenders and still can't defend. So you've really got nothing to be laughing about, to be honest with you, mate. And you'll never win the European Cup either, as long as it doesn't matter how much money you spend. You can't buy class, mate, and you can't buy bottle. And Manchester City just don't have the bottle to win the European Cup. So come in and laugh all you want, but trust me, mate, you're going to get it back in spades. Aren't there any veteran world-class keepers who could fill the void? Well, you've veteran and world-class, do you know what I mean? Veteran and good enough, but world-class, there's not too many of them floating around for free anyway, or for low money. Play Firmino against Everton. Bit too premature to drop him. Yeah, look, it's good to see people sticking up for Bobby as well. This is a conversation. They're going to be, all sides to this. I'm starting to get to the point where I could understand him being given a breather and Takumi Minamino getting an opportunity, or Salah going through the centre. I've got to be honest. I'm one of his biggest fans, and I think it's probably time to make a change. The derby is the type of game that's usually made for Bobby Firmino. 100 miles an hour, pressing galore, running all over the pitch, the front three working as a unit. maybe we'll see that Bobby back. Let's wait and see. But whatever happens, I trust in the manager to read his players right and know whether they're in the right headspace to go on the pitch. What is the management work with Adrian during the international break? Yeah, of course they'll be working with him, mate. John Achterberg will be talking him through. They'll be trying to fill him back full of confidence. They'll be doing all the right things. WFM, there you go, Liam. WFM indeed, mate. Well played. The chosen one said he's slowly losing patience with Bobby. That's okay. That's okay, mate. It's alright to be critiquing of players. You mean you're doing it in the right way here. Do you know what I mean? You're not out there just slating people for the sake of it. So, yeah, I mean, that's okay. Right, I'm trying to keep up with the chat here, folks. Did I read this one out? I did. I read Pat's out. Right, keep moving. I'm scared and worried Alisson will be injured for Manchester City, said Joe. Mate, there's not much we can do about it. I understand your fear. I mean, after yesterday's performance, I'm nervous as well, but I do believe in this group, and there's nothing we can really do about the goalkeeper situation right now. We've got a 4-week gap probably after the international break that we will have to make do with what we have, and then hopefully we'll have Ali back. We're going to have to just go through these choppy waters, and you know, we've a strong enough squad that we should be able to deal with it. We're having Hendo and Thiago back, you know, having Sadio Mane back. You know, we'll have more leadership on the pitch as well, more experience. I mean, if there was one thing yesterday in that result that disappointed me, was something that I hadn't seen in Liverpool before. We just fell apart, and I hadn't seen that in this group of players before. They're usually so strong, and to see them fall apart like they did in that game yesterday, it's a rare glimpse of mental fragility from this Liverpool group. Garrett Meyer said, thanks for streaming tonight, Craig. I can't watch live, but I'll be back later tonight. Much love. My pleasure, Garrett, mate. You know me. I always front up to these things. I could have taken 3 days off now, but I thought, no, I need to come on tonight. I need to chat with Reds, and we need to figure this shit out about the performance yesterday. We need to pick through the bones of it in the cold light of day. And, you know, as I always say, win together, lose together. But as a community on here, we talk it out. That's what we do. Who would you buy as a backup goalkeeper, said Harry Graham. You know, it depends what the budget is, mate. I've always liked the idea of Erghan Kikir, and I've done quite a bit of looking into him actually since we were linked with him from Trabzonspor quite a long time ago. He'd be grand. Like the Pitaluga young lad could be the answer for all I know. I've always said I really like Handanovic at Inter Milan. If you were wanting an experienced goalkeeper, latter part of his career, I don't know if Inter would let him go, to be honest with you. But, you know, Handanovic is somebody who I've always thought would do a very good job. And I'd have him in a heartbeat if I'm being honest. But surely Klopp cannot be happy with Adriana's performance. Klopp should have saw this coming. The defence fell apart because they've no confidence in Adrian, that's why. Little bit of that, mate, yeah. Manager has a question or two to answer on that topic. Yeah, that's fair. Couldn't have foreseen the injury coming to Alisson, to be fair. I mean, we're talking about a goalkeeper here who, until he picked up that injury, had quite a good injury record. I played a load of games in a row for us. I even thought last year that was a bit of a freak injury, and we won't see him pick up another one. And then he comes back, trains during the week, and, you know, we hear he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, and of course we wish him a full and speedy recovery. But yeah, there are questions to be asked about, is it good enough, the backup goalkeeping position that we have? And they'll address it. I'm sure they will. Bobby is great. Never ever sell him. I think he's a gem, said, is it Reusch, 1967? I hope I pronounced that correctly. Lunin from Real Madrid for me, said Addison. Handanovic is a great keeper, said Brian. I've always had a soft spot for Liverpool signing him as a backup. Maybe Brian remembers me talking to him about it last year. I've always looked at Handanovic as the possible answer to some club who wants an experienced, level-headed keeper who you can give some game time to. Yeah, again, Rachel's pointed out a very good point there. Like, a goalkeeper of quality would want to be playing. It is a fair point. I mean, it's not a position that's rotated very much. You might get the odd cup game here or there. I have to play if there's an injury. So yeah, I get it. Scorpio FC said, Craig, do you think we can still win the league? Or is this team lose confidence? Of course we can still win the league. I'm fully expecting us to go back-to-back this year. And look, of course, we'll all take it on the chin if we don't. But it was always going to be a tighter title race than last year. We knew that. I mean, we've seen Manchester City have strengthened. United have strengthened somewhat. Spurs strengthened, Arsenal are strengthening. Everybody, Everton have done some very good business. And there'll always be a curveball or two that we didn't see coming as well, who have a very good season. So yeah, it was always going to be a tighter race. And last year, I think we broke teams mentally at the start of the season with how strong we were and how well we grinded out games, even by the odd goal in games we didn't play particularly well. And I thought we were starting to do that again this season. I think we caught Chelsea at just the right time of the season, beating them 2-0 at Stamford Bridge quite easily. Yes, they had a player sent off, but we were still, in my opinion, the better side before that and would have gone on to win the game. We beat Arsenal and we won 4-3 against Leeds as well the opening day of the season. So there's a bit of a mixed bag. Some leaky aspects with regards to goals. Leeds will do that to teams this season as well, though they're just a mad team to play against. The way Bielsa has them playing so full of energy as well. You can see why a lot of managers look up to Bielsa. What did you think of Naby yesterday? It's a good question, actually. I didn't really give Naby too much thought. Not as great as performance, of course, but then again, there wasn't many great performances out there. But he needs to step up and prove himself as well this season, no doubt about that. He's a very expensive signing and started to see glimpses of him doing well. Pre-season, I thought he was very good as well. But yeah, Naby needs to make sure that he steps it up this season and shows the player that Liverpool bought. Lone Kepa. Yeah, you're all right, man. I'll stick with Adrian. What have we got? Curry said, Liverpool are so good that whenever we get beaten, no matter what score or manner, our fans aren't used to it and some of us overreact. Definitely. There's definitely a case of that, mate. And it's a massive compliment to Liverpool Football Club that our defeat yesterday has been reacted to in the way it has. Both in, I suppose, from my perspective, with being bantered about the video, from the opposition fans having a pop at Liverpool fans on social media. It's because they're scared of Liverpool. That's the God's honest truth to it. They know how good we are, and any sign of weakness they're going to want to pounce all over and capitalise. Any little chink in our armour, any little sign of mental fragility, they're going to try and jump all over it. And I wouldn't respect opposition fans if they didn't do that, because I do the very same to their team. Same way I'll be having a poke at United and laughing about their transfer business and their manager and the fact that there was reports of arguments in the dressing room at half-time yesterday. We won't have that. That's the difference to me. That's just my take on it anyway. What have we got? Naby better on the left-hand side of midfield, said Mr. P. Kepa better than Adrian. Yeah, but Kepa's the world's most expensive goalkeeper and he's horrendous, mate. I mean, so there is that. Do you know what I mean? I think Kepa will go back to Spain and eventually will settle down actually into a decent keeper. Mark, thank you very much, Mark, for your comments. Pitaluga played for Gremio's first team and they're known for raising Alisson and Edison. Didn't he come through? Did he come in? Was it not Fluminense? Am I wrong in saying he came through Fluminense? I could be wrong on that one. Wasn't that where we signed him from? Again, happy to be proved wrong on that one. Was Adrian grand last night? It was brilliant, Harry. I mean, what a performance. Sensational. To keep Villa to just 7. What a goalkeeper performance. Everton looks scary. No. They look decent. They look like a good side who have a very good manager and are full of confidence. But I wouldn't say scary. They're good. They're better. They're not as shit as they were. But I wouldn't say scary. I mean, they got a good result at Spurs. But other than that, we'll see. They've got a test coming up against us. Let's see how it goes. I keep seeing you everywhere. What's your thoughts on becoming a meme? If it attracts more eyes to the channel, mate, and our community grows, I'll take everything on the chin. No problem whatsoever. If I'm big enough to dish it out, I've got to be big enough to take it. And I am. It's fine. It's absolutely sound, mate. You still crying? Yeah, mate. I'm on here. Look at me. Breaking down in tears. Oh, the sadness this is wafting out of me. Oh, the sadness. No, mate, I'm tickety-boo. You're still going to be irrelevant, though, so don't worry about it. My partner Keith asks, what about Trent? In what sense, Rachel, with how he played yesterday? It's intriguing that a lot of teams tend to go down Trent's side. I find that interesting. I mean, sometimes you just think and go, okay, Aubameyang naturally hangs off on the left anyway. Grealish yesterday was attacking down that left-hand side with Ollie Watkins as well. And it does seem to be an area that I don't know if they're looking at Trent, opposition managers, from a defensive fragility point of view, or the fact that he's often so high up the pitch, they know if they can turn over possession, there might be a gap in behind there. And then at times I often wonder, does Trent get enough protection? The teams look at the left-hand side of a defence and go, all right, Van Dijk and Robertson, we'll take our chances on the opposite side. That could well be the case. Trent, it's important to remember, is still a young footballer. He's achieved so much in his young career, and he has another 10 or 11 years ahead of him, maybe even more. So he'll still be learning as well, and he certainly isn't the finished product. But what a player we have with Trent Alexander-Arnold. But like a lot of them yesterday, he was part of a defence that capitulated and part of a team that just fell apart. And, that has to be addressed. And it will be addressed by the manager. What have we got? What happened to Alisson? He's injured now for 4 to 6 weeks. What else have we got? Think we should sign a centre-back in this window. I don't like Gomez, never had, said XTMX49. We won't be, mate, unfortunately. Jack Wilshere left West Ham there. We can see that one as well. Into the final hour and 10 minutes of the window now. Connor said, was impressed with last night. If you forced me to make a criticism, I'd probably say tighten up at the back. A pinch. Yeah, just a smidgen, Connor. Just a tad. Just maybe try not to concede the 7 next time. Dan Stiller says, Jota over Firmino, what's your opinion? Very worried as well about Adrian for so many big games in Premier League. Look, we're all a bit nervous about Adrian. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm happy to admit that I'm nervous about him as well. I'm not going to go in on him like some people have on social media, because I don't see the point in it. Who does it benefit? Jota, to me the question is Jota or Minamino for Bobby. I would almost suggest I'd rather Minamino. But you can make an argument for either or, to be honest with you. They're both players full of energy. Yes, Jota has had a lot more time in the league, but maybe Minamino's had more time training with Jurgen Klopp and might understand the system a bit better. So it's a good headache actually to have. I mean, if we were sitting here right now and we hadn't signed Diogo Jota and Takumi Minamino hadn't started showing bits of form, we'd be sitting here looking around going, Shaqiri or Origi here. Shaqiri could pick up another knock as well. But we've addressed the position, and it's good that we're sitting here having this debate about whether we go with Jota or Minamino or Firmino. At least we've got options there, which is a good sign. City said, Jota left, Mane right, Salah middle. I wouldn't argue with that, mate. I think that's fine as well. I also think Minamino through the middle, Salah on the right, Mane on the left is fine as well. There are options there for the gaffer, which is great. Captain Hindsight said, what a great name that is. With your squad, you'll be fine. Mistakes were made from Klopp down. Didn't change anything. No subs earlier. Only Salah was any good. We were amazing, but this is a blip for you. Don't panic. I cannot argue anything you've said there, mate. You've nailed it in a couple of sentences. Well played. Villa deserve the credit. I've said that. I won't take anything away from them. They deserve the win. Congratulations to Dean Smith and the Villa players and their fans. I mean, nothing but respect there. But yeah, you're right. From Klopp down, right through, we weren't good enough yesterday. And we need to learn from it. And I'm sure that they will learn from it. Good prediction. Well, I predicted Liverpool to score 2 goals. Did Liverpool score 2 goals? So, do you know what I mean? I got half it right. How long will Thiago be missing? Looks like just a 14-day isolation period by the looks of it. Then he'll get back into training, obviously. Hopefully there's no, with this illness, there's no, things can turn one way or the other. Symptoms can change quickly, but all going well, should be available. Bernadette said, I think you'll get more goals from Jota than Minamino, but maybe Minamino could create more assists. Dommy Jean said, rather Origi for the derby. I'm going to point back to, the reason I'd say no to that is I'll point back to what I touched on earlier on when we were talking about the high line and Liverpool defending from the front with midfielders and attackers pressing to not give players time on the ball and the space to get in behind. I don't think we'd get that from Origi, enough pressing. So that's why I would go with either Jota or Minamino over Origi for the derby anyway. Manchester United gave Cavani the number 7. I think they did give him the 7th shirt. I think. I don't know. Don't really care, to be honest with you. And I've got no disrespect for Edison Cavani either. The man's had a very good career. Mane, where is he? Well, if you need to ask that question, I mean, where have you been? He has the... unfortunately, he has... You know what? I don't even like to say it these days. Hi, Craig. Yesterday was not a good day for me because Liverpool lost. Same as the rest of us. Not a great day, but thankfully, these types of defeats for Liverpool are few and far between. So, you know, like when we celebrate, when we give a team a hiding or we go on a good run, you know, we've got to take this one on the chin and regroup. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you very much to everyone for tuning in. And I might pop in with something quick during the next 3 days, but other than that, I should be taking 3 days off, and I will see you guys on Friday. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video as well. If you want to become a member, hit the join button. But I want to give a shout out to our Flick group before we head off. I'll be very active in the Flick group, by the way, over the next few days. So if you want to keep up to date with what's going on, come in and have a chat. The link to the Anfield Agenda Flick chat group is in the description of the stream. It's absolutely free as well. It doesn't matter if you're an Apple user or if you're an Android user. The link is in there. It's free to use, free to download. Come interact with us over there. Hope you have some fun, and I'll see you over there. But look, until I see you guys on Thursday or Friday, stay well, stay safe, look after each other. Thank you so much for your support. Congratulations to all of us, you guys especially, on helping us hit 50k. This is only the first step in our path up to champions. Love you guys. Take care.